Hello and welcome back to the Vulnerability School podcast. I am your host, Jenna Jarvis, and I'm super excited to dive in with you today. We're giving Girls Camp vibes with some braids in the hair and the I don't give up outfit. I am still in Bali. Today is my last full day, which absolutely breaks my heart. And today's episode is all on leaning into the resistance. Before we get into the episode, I'll just give some Jenna updates here. I'm planning different things for when I come home, and I'm so excited. One of them being we're going to do a combined, if you're in Utah, combined Flow House and Vulnerability School event. Second, I am planning a Healed Girl Summer event retreat, so stay tuned for that. And I have been working out super consistently. I'm obsessed with the Alive app by Whitney Simmons. I'm doing the Elevate Advanced program, and I'm on week 4 and I'm really loving it. I'm learning a lot about the gym and all the things. And if you've known me for a long time, you know that I am pretty passionate about fitness. I used to be a coach at F45. Yeah, I love all things fitness, just taking care of your body, you know? I love it. That's my shit. Your body, soul, and your mind. What other updates do I have? So tomorrow I'm flying home. Well, I'm flying to LA for the funeral, and then I will be flying to Utah after. So many mixed emotions, which we're definitely going to get into today. And I'm just really appreciating and loving every second that I have in Bali. Something that I remember thinking about in high school is like, everyone's always like, these are the best years of your life. You're going to miss it so much. And I remember thinking, you know what? I'm going to appreciate my life right now. I'm not going to wait until I graduate high school to appreciate high school. Then when I graduated high school, I had zero regrets because I was engaged fully in, what I was experiencing. And so that's what I've been trying to do here in Bali. When I'm riding around on my little scooter listening to my music, it's gonna make me cry. I'm just like, I am enjoying this fully right now. So when I'm not in it, I will know that I enjoyed it to the full extent and that I get to experience these experiences again. It's not just one and done. So that's been something I've been working on and thinking about every day. What else? It's going to be weird to go back to Utah. The next episode I'm going to do is going to be about all the things that I've learned in Bali. I'm really excited for that one. Yeah, so much to come. I've really been pouring into the new community that I'm doing. And I know I keep saying I'm going to start it, which I'm like, Jenna, come on, start this. Because I was doing some of the meditations today and I'm like, how am I just gatekeeping all this for myself? What I have created is so fun and empowering. And I'm like, I want other people to experience this. So it's coming. Just check my Instagram for more updates. It's going to be so good because I have spent so much fucking time on it. So it better be good. The life in Bali, it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'm going to go to the beach instead of do this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this. And I think it will be good for me to be in Utah and be around all of my best friends and just be able to throw in-person events and do these things and be back into the Vulnerability School world completely, because solo traveling is lonely, and but it's beautiful. I've met so many incredible people, but I'm super excited to be with my core people again. Yeah, get back into the hustle culture, which I never thought I'd say that, but I am excited. Let's get into today's topic. This is something I am so passionate about. I think the idea of leaning into the resistance really came to me and was so powerful when I was going to do ayahuasca, because there's a lot of uncomfortable feelings and you have to release control. I even had this idea of I want to get this tattoo of someone kind of leaning, and then it's into the word of resistance. I don't know. Stay tuned. But update also, I got 2 tattoos. I'm going to be doing a vlog of the tattoos, so I won't go into too much detail, but I got one on my arm right here, and then I got Lover on my neck, which I'm literally obsessed with because your girl is a lover girl to the core, even though sometimes it doesn't fully serve me. Just kidding. It always does. I think leading with love is something that we'll never regret. I truly believe that. Okay, leaning into the resistance. Here we go. Let's get it. So here's the truth, is that obviously within the community, and just different things in my life, I have been procrastinating so much because I want things to be perfect. I am a little perfectionist girly, and I pour my heart and soul into everything that I do, and it holds me back sometimes, a lot of the times. So this is something I'm actively working through. And this fear that we experience, this fear that things aren't going to be perfect, that is the resistance I'm talking about today. This resistance and this fear is dressed up like logic, but it's actually anxiety in disguise. So like I said, I'm about to head back to Utah for my grandpa's funeral, going to a wedding, and then possibly a festival before I come back to Bali. And I did not want to go. Like, my grandpa obviously passed away, and I don't, first off, funerals, like, that's just sad. I want to celebrate his life, but the fact that he died has just been such an emotional roller coaster for me. And then going back to Utah, where I have experienced a lot of trauma in my life. And yeah, like, when I left Utah to come to Bali, I was fully in survival mode. Like, I truly was. It makes me emotional. But I was not okay. And so coming to Bali, like, I've experienced so much magic and I've really connected with myself. I can truly honestly say I've met my favorite version of Jenna Jarvis in Bali, the most aligned, and I truly have never loved myself more than I do today. And that's shown up in so many different ways, in the way that I treat myself, in the way that I allow others to treat me, in the way that I finally have boundaries, and in the way that I can spend so much time alone. And it's not because I'm depressed, but it's because I enjoy my own company. It's so beautiful. So yeah, lots of resistance in going back to Utah. But as I was spiraling about this, I was like, Jenna, get your shit together. Like, just accept what's happening. Because the more you resist this, the more uncomfortable it's going to get. Like, what is the point? So one day I was just like, okay, I'm going to lean into the resistance. I'm going to make the most out of going home to Utah. I'm going to make the most out of going to LA. I'm going to make the most out of the funeral. And I'm going to bring the magic of Bali everywhere I go. And really the magic that we create, because the magic is in us. I'm going to bring that magic everywhere I go. And ever since then, I'm like excited to go home. I'm appreciating every moment that I'm here, and I'm just accepting. I think a huge part of this is acceptance. And we create so much tension and fear and uncomfortableness, I guess, in our lives, in our bodies, when we don't just accept things as they are, or people as they are, instead of trying to change them, including ourselves. And the fact is, when we reframe stress as something that we can move towards, our bodies actually respond with resilience. If we start to believe that our stress response is helping us, our body vessels will stay relaxed instead of constricted. Our body literally supports us better when we mentally just lean in. So as I've been thinking about this, I'm like, what really is resistance? Resistance is not the enemy. It's our nervous system saying, wait, this feels new. Am I safe right now? And the most wild thing is that this resistance usually shows up right before something magical and powerful and expansive is about to happen. Our brains, specifically the amygdala, freak out when we step outside of our comfort zones. It is literally coded in us to avoid change. But change is, as we know, where life happens. And the beautiful paradox of neuroplasticity is that our brains get better at whatever we practice. So if we practice avoidance, our brains will become experts at shutting down. And if we practice courage, even in tiny, shaky, little doses, our brain will rewire to make that the new normal. As I've been doing like a little bit of research on this, there's a man named James Clear, and he calls it casting votes for the kind of person that you want to become. Because every time we lean into the resistance, we are casting a vote for the most powerful version of us. And that is beautiful. I truly do believe that resistance is like the doorman to our next level. We need to make friends with the resistance. We can imagine it like it's not the villain, but it's like the bouncer. We just have to flash our little ID and be like, bitch, I belong here. Since we are going to be doing a Flow House collab soon, we'll make a little cold plunge reference here. I want you to think of it like getting into a cold body of water. Your body says absolutely no. Your chest tightens, and then what do they have you do? They have you breathe, and you stay. And your body suddenly starts adjusting. Maybe you start to move around a little bit, you laugh, you smile, you lean into this feeling, and your body accepts it. And you start to feel alive in your body. And if there's one thing I know, it's that comfort has never changed me, but resistance absolutely has. Resistance is like our brain functioning on this old software, and leaning into this resistance is like, baby, let's update this now. Like, we are ready to step into the next level. And I truly believe the more that we're able to rewire our brains to think this way, the easier everything is going to get. And something I've been telling myself lately is like, if it scares me, it's probably sacred. It's probably the step into the next best thing. So in the ways that I've seen this in my life, there's so many, but like I said, ayahuasca, that was so uncomfortable. Like I had to get off coffee for 30 days. I couldn't do any plant medicine. Just so many different little things. I had to go on a special diet, and I already was not doing okay. So for me to cut all these things out of my life was so hard, but I was like, I have to lean in. And then while I was in my session, I had to release control. If you've listened to my ayahuasca episode, you know that I did it for 4 nights and I only felt the medicine 2 nights. So there's 2 nights I had to sit for like 8 hours all night long while everybody is in this magical medicine and I'm just by myself with my thoughts. And I had to just accept. Like there was no going back. I couldn't leave the room. I had to be there. And I just had to accept and lean into it. And every time I would just accept it and lean into it, I felt so much happier. Like it's so crazy. It should be so obvious that we just lean into the resistance and our lives get better. Because every single time we do that, that's what happens. But it's wild. Our bodies are just wired to stay comfortable. So I really think this is an act that we'll be practicing throughout our entire lives. And in ayahuasca, I really, really let that discomfort just wash over me. And that's when I met myself. Not the curated me, not the performing version of Jenna Jarvis, but the real, authentic, vulnerable, beautiful version of Jenna Jarvis. A recent thing that I have leaned into is ending my past relationship. I really, really cared about this person that I dated, and they became someone just really important to me, my best friend. Even though I wasn't treated well, it was so comfortable for me to be in this relationship because that's the treatment that I was receiving was things I'd received throughout my entire life and not healthy. And it was so hard for me to get out of this relationship. So hard. It was so easy for me to stay in it. It was so easy for me to stay in something that wasn't serving me. I mean, harder in the long run, but easier in the moment. But the day that it finally clicked that I cannot do this anymore, I cannot be treated like this, and I'm going to take full responsibility for my life, and I leaned into that resistance, it's truly changed so much for me. Like I cannot imagine being in that relationship right now. And the way that it was just taking a toll on my heart, my gentle, sweet, lover girl heart. And now like I have a couple friends that are in relationships that just are not for them, and I talk to them and I listen to them on the phone, just like I had friends do that to me or do that for me. I just sit and I listen and my heart just aches because I'm just like, you have no idea what is on the other side of just choosing yourself and being with someone that respects you, because your soulmate is not someone that is going to disrespect you. And it's so funny. I went on a date here recently and this guy was like, oh yeah, I saw your Instagram and you looked like a feminist. So I was a little bit worried. And I was like, what? I'm like, a feminist? I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I'm like, I mean, I love women. And I was like, do I look like a feminist because I post about women respecting themselves? And I'm like, wild. But I'm like, okay, I'll take it, whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a full-blown feminist. Like, I feel like I'm pretty neutral, but I do want women to step into their power. And I think that's like the most radical act of self-love and really elevating your life. Like, we see so many people when they break out of a relationship and they just have this major glow up. I'm like, holy shit. Like my friend Taylor, or Chata House on Instagram, not Taylor Frankie Paul. She just really fully stepped into herself. And I just love when I see people come out of a relationship and they just fully bloom, or inside of a relationship. But I'm like, do not stay in something that is not serving you. And I know it is so much harder said than done. But if you need someone to talk with you about this, please call me. Like, I'll talk to you all day. An activity I had my friend do. I don't know if you do this, but when I was in a relationship that wasn't really serving me, I would upload all the text messages to ChatGPT and just ask Gigi, my therapist, my girl, what I should say, what's going on. And I uploaded everything. So she really knew about my relationship. And my friend had been doing this. And I said, I want you to ask ChatGPT to tell you what your future is going to look like with this person. With everything that it knows about this person that you are not giving up on and that you are giving all your energy to, I want you to ask ChatGPT to tell you about your future. And I sat with my friend on the phone, I'm getting chills, and we listened to ChatGPT tell her about her future with this person. this person that's not changing, that's not putting her first, that's not putting themselves first either, and that is just sitting and being the victim. And I was crying on the phone. I was like, holy shit, like, we can't let this happen. You are not going to continue in this. And toxic relationships are so hard to get out of. So like, I hold so much space, and I think you leave when you're ready to leave, for sure. Like, no one's going to convince you. But if you are stuck or you're confused, please do that. Please ask ChatGPT to tell you what your future is going to look like with this person. Anyways, yeah, leaning into the resistance and getting out of that past relationship. As hard as it was to be alone again, and it's so much harder to stay in a relationship that doesn't serve you. It is so much harder. I was losing myself every single day. I was so drained. My hormones were so out of whack. I was breaking out. I was miserable. And I really just... there'd be these little glimmers of hope that things were going to get better. And I just cling on to those when I couldn't see that the whole entire relationship, it was like 90% I wasn't stressed and 10% was good, but I was just clinging on to that 10%. And I think it's so important that we can have different perspectives to show us, like, this makes me so emotional, that like, you don't deserve just 10% good. You deserve 99% good. You deserve 100% good. You really do. And if you don't believe that, please lean on my belief in you. I believe that with my whole heart, my whole chest. Like, you do not deserve to be in relationships, whether it's romantic, whether it's a friendship, whether it's your employer. Like, there's no relationship that is worth losing yourself. I really do believe that. Like, please do not. I could just shout it from the rooftops. You deserve a healthy love. You deserve the love that you give. Point blank. You really do. And Vulnerability School is here for you. This community is here for you. And the events, we have all these women coming together and just supporting each other. And it's so beautiful. And it's so interesting because a lot of the times we think of these toxic relationships as with a romantic partner, but some of the most toxic relationships for me in my life have been family, for sure, and relationships that I have had to grow through and build myself and just unlearn so many limiting beliefs. It wasn't just romantic. Like, there can be other relationships in your life that are so toxic, and you also need to heal from those in the same way you would from a divorce or just a breakup or anything. Like, your pain, wherever that stems from, is worthy of healing. So when I ended that relationship, it completely broke me open. It was on my birthday, and I was at my birthday dinner with all my favorite people. And I was blowing out my candles and I was crying, but nobody knew, you know? And I had to go to the bathroom several times because I just started crying because my body was like freaking out. And I think a lot of the times with pain like this and your nervous system becoming regulated, your body's still like in survival mode. Like, I'm sure there's still an extent where my body is still in survival mode from all of the stress that I experienced over that year and a half. And even before, like, and the thing is too, like, I don't want to play the victim at all. I stayed in a relationship that wasn't serving me. I believed someone time and time again when they told me they were going to change. And that's on me. That's fully on me. And yeah, but I'm grateful I'm out of it. And I hope if you're listening to this and you relate, like, you know that, like, first off, there's so much good on the other side. And second off, it's okay to still have hard days and to still be trying to rewire your nervous system and to feel comfortable and to feel safe. It's totally normal. And I think that's a huge part of why I've been even procrastinating this community, because I'm like, I just need to breathe. I just need to be okay for a second. But it's so funny because if we were doing the community, I'd be doing meditations every day and weekly. So, but there's a balance. There's also a lot of hard work that goes into it, you know? You know what's so interesting too, something I've been thinking about, is that our brains would sometimes rather sit in known pain than an unfamiliar peace. Like, you stay in a familiar hell instead of experiencing an unfamiliar heaven. But when you think about it like that, it's so simple. It's like, no, yeah, your brain is just wired that way. Like, let's just get out of it. But it's so hard. And this actually is called something called status quo bias, where we'd rather stay in a shitty but familiar situation than risk the unknown. But as we know, growth does not live in the familiar. And where I've really experienced this is solo traveling. I traveled around Europe for 4 months, and now I've traveled around Bali by myself for 4 months, and it's very unfamiliar. But it also is crazy because Bali just feels like home for me. The culture, the people, everything is just truly, I believe, screams Jenna Jarvis. Like, this is my place. And I feel so energetically aligned here. But before I left to go solo travel, I was absolutely terrified. Not even terrified, to be honest, because I've lived on my own since I was like 14, just bouncing from place to place. But I was just like, oh, I don't want to go. Like, I'm so comfortable in Utah. Even though I wasn't comfortable, it was like I was comfortable being in the uncomfortable. You know what I mean? The familiar. But both of these places completely reshaped me. Completely. I just recommend like, solo travel is so beautiful. Even if you're married and you have a family, like, take a little weekend trip. Do something for you and spend some time with yourself. Something I was thinking about is I have this friend, Con, and he asked me, like, what's something about you that most people wouldn't know? And I could not think of anything, probably because my company is called Vulnerability School. So I'm just so vulnerable about so many things. Like, something that most people wouldn't know. And something that most people wouldn't know, maybe, is that I could literally sit and meditate, no joke, for like an hour and a half and just lay there. And when it's over, I'm like sad because I have become so comfortable just sitting alone with my thoughts. And I used to not. Like, meditating for 5 minutes before used to scare the shit out of me. Like, no thank you. But the more that you practice it, the more beautiful it becomes. And now I can solo travel and be on my own and do my own thing. And I feel so content, almost even more content than when I am with people. Another way that I have truly been leaning into the resistance, and it's almost like I don't have the words to explain this, but it's like my whole life I hear, like, don't be a people pleaser, you need to have boundaries, like, your life will be easier. But I've just been like, oh yeah, whatever, kind of. Like, oh, I'll try, but I'm still a people pleaser. But I have actually been speaking up, especially when it comes to friendships and dating. I had this really awful experience the other day. I made these girlfriends and they were drama and probably not, my people fully, but anyways, they just completely blew a situation out of context and handled the situation very poorly. And I started shaking and crying and I was so triggered. And I was just like, can we just talk about this? But they like wouldn't see my side of things. Anyways, I went home and I like really sat with this, and everyone was asleep in the US too. So like, I didn't have my people I could just call. I was really alone and I just sat with it and I was shaky and I just had this like really this PTSD reaction because I would never treat someone that way. Never in a million years. It's making me emotional again thinking about it because I was just like, holy shit, like, I don't know. Anyways, I think you only treat people that way when you don't feel good about yourself. So I was just trying to remind myself that. Anyways, I decided to just be, instead of trying to mend this relationship, I was like, no, my people would never treat me this way. I'm not going to try to mend this. I'm going to let this relationship go. So I sent them a really nice text, really thoughtful, and I unfollowed them on Instagram. And I just, I was just like, I love you guys and I want to like release this situation with so much love. I just don't feel safe in this. And I don't do that. Like, I haven't done that in the past. And that was really beautiful for me. And I've even seen them since and I don't feel anything. I'm like, no, I protected my energy. I stood up for myself. I didn't wait for someone else to come save the day. And I feel so good. In a recent episode I talked a little bit about dating and how I've had way better boundaries with dating. And I've just learned to believe someone when they tell me something. Instead of hoping for them to be something else, believing them when they tell me like, hey, I'm not emotionally stable. Or, hey, I don't want to work on my trauma. Or, hey, I don't feel like I'm in the right place in my life to treat you right. Instead of trying to change them, or instead of just pretending that their words only matter and not their actions, I've just allowed people to go. I've leaned into the resistance and I've just allowed people to be who they are without trying to change them. And it has brought so much peace in my life. So much. Like, I can't even explain. And it's almost uncomfortable because I'm so emotionally healthy right now in my life. I feel so emotionally healthy that it's like, whoa, like a little uncomfortable, but it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Like, I don't have time for games. I don't have time for people that aren't putting themselves first and want to be better anymore. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that because I'm actually showing up in the way that I want people to treat me. I'm showing up in the way that I want to feel, and I want to feel loved. So I have to show people that. If I want respect, if I want a guy to take me on a first date instead of just like meet me somewhere or like have a casual hangout, I need to say that. If I want a friend to show up for me in a certain way, I need to express that to her. I always think about how crazy it is that there's so many relationships that fail because of a lack of communication. Like, I'll hear someone say like, oh yeah, I just didn't really love how attached this person was to their phone or something. And I'm like, oh, like, did you bring it up? No. I'm like, oh, Well, that really sucks, because if I was the other person in the situation, I would have loved for you to say that to me, instead of letting this relationship fail or whatever it is. So many thoughts. So many thoughts. I could truly record a podcast episode every single day with all these thoughts that I've got going on in my brain. But yeah, set your boundaries. Start living life like you want to live your life. Start teaching people how to treat you. Start living in your power. You are miserable because you're allowing yourself to be miserable, okay? And that goes for me too. Like me not starting this program, I'm allowing myself to feel this guilt and this shame and this sadness every day because I just won't start it. And so my goal is to just start it, and your goal is to just do whatever is coming to your mind right now. And truly, if you need help, I'm here. And I've created this community for this purpose, so that we can connect and be real and be vulnerable and have people on our side. And the programs we've done in the past have been so incredibly beautiful. Even just listening to one of the meditations I recorded, and I do believe like God or higher power, the universe is so in on this with me. And the magic that you experience in healing, it comes from you. But yeah, listening to my own voice, I guess, is very healing for me, and accepting that it's my own voice. And maybe sometimes I'm like, ugh, the ick, but just being like, wow, I'm healing and I'm helping other people heal, and I am finding the magic within myself. And that is the highest form of love, the highest form of satisfaction. And there's a lot that I'm learning, like in relationships, I'm very open, very loving, very just ready to not play any games, and I'm learning how to protect myself a little bit more, because I will be so open with people that don't really deserve that. So that's something I'm working through. I'm excited to just keep putting things into practice. And my love language is to like know what someone is working through, or like to explain to someone what I'm working through, or yeah, just like self-growth and talking about this stuff. If you ever want to chat about this stuff, please message me. I'm pretty bad at responding to messages, but just message me again and again. I love voice memos, so send me a voice memo, okay? Okay. Leaning into discomfort teaches your body safety in uncertainty. You become your own safe place. And this is not about being fearless. This is just about being willing to take that step and the next step and the next step. Being willing to stay with yourself even when it gets messy, even when it's uncomfortable, again and again and again. And that is truly when life stops feeling like it's something you have to manage, and it starts feeling like something that you get to live and be alive in. And I truly could yap all day long, but if there is one thing that I could have everyone in the world understand right now, or you to really understand, it is this. Your power lives in the places that you are avoiding. Your softness, your clarity, your freedom, it is all waiting inside of the moments that make you want to run. So do not run. Stay, lean in, and trust, because you deserve your power. You deserve bliss. You deserve your dream life, your dream reality. And you are the conscious creator of that reality. And if you're not the conscious creator of that reality, you are the victim. And that's embarrassing. If this episode stirred something up inside of you, I want you to sit with it. There's a quote that someone said somewhere that says, if you don't have 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is to just sit with yourself every day, then you need 3 hours. You deserve your time more than anyone, because if you don't give yourself time, you're not going to have genuine, authentic, real time for anyone else. It's going to be stress. It's going to be chaos. And your loved ones don't deserve that, and you do not deserve that. So again, if this stirred something up in you, I want you to sit in it, maybe give it a re-listen, maybe share it with someone you love and talk to them about it. And if you loved it and you want to support the podcast, I would love if you left a little review or subscribed, because that is how this space grows. And that's how more people can come into alignment with themselves and find the community and truly fall in love with themselves. And don't forget to check my Instagram for community launch details, Slow House updates, Healed Girl Summer that's coming in hot, Bali retreats in the future. It's all happening, and you are motherfucking invited. We are not meant to do this alone. This episode made me really emotional, and it is because I'm so passionate about this work. I'm so passionate about falling in love with yourself and making your body a home for you and a safe place. I promise that you are doing better than you think you are. And the more that you accept things in your life, the happier you will be. And I love you so much, truly. So much. And I'm so grateful you're here. If you're here, I love you. I already know that we're the same vibe. If you have spent this entire episode listening, I love you. Thank you so much. It really means the world to me, and you are helping my dreams of changing the world and helping people fall in love with themselves and find the magic in themselves come true. And in the name of vulnerability, amen.